Alright guys, I just heard a knock at the door, so I believe the fish have arrived. So they spent pretty minimal time in the box, so let's go get the box, get it in my classroom, and get them set up. Let's go. So I kept my word from my previous tour of my classroom and finally found the perfect cichlids for this 135-gallon custom aquarium. It's been in my classroom since September. We're now in June. So it's been sitting vacant for a very long time, but I was waiting for the perfect set of fish and I found them. So before we get to the unboxing, just a little bit of a backstory on how I got this custom aquarium and why it's just been sitting in my classroom for, 10 months? And with no fish. So if we go back about 10 months to last September, my parents drove down to spend the weekend with my brother and his family in the St. Louis area. If you don't know, we're from the Chicago area. And Alec had this empty 135-gallon custom aquarium that just did not fit his setup in his basement. So being the Cichlid brothers, I had some space in my classroom, so I gladly took that off his hands. Before I got into this new classroom, I never had a table big enough to fit an aquarium of this size. This is a 6-foot long aquarium, so there's a lot more possibilities that you can do.
Look at all this floor space. So much aerobics in here. So many activities.
In an aquarium of that size that I had not been able to in my previous setups in my classrooms. So my mind immediately started working and I settled on a certain type of cichlid that I've always wanted to keep, but like I said, I've never had the setup to keep these cichlids. And then for the specific fish themselves, I wanted the right variation with vibrant colors that came from a reputable dealer, and I was finally able to find that, and it fit in my current schedule, and financially I was able to make this hit because these were pretty expensive. I will break down all of the costs at the end of the video.
I'm in debt up to my eyeballs.
But financially I was able to make it work as well. Hopefully my girlfriend doesn't watch this video because she might not be as happy with me if she knows how much these fish cost. But without further ado, let's get to the unboxing. So the box itself is a well-sized box. Seems to be very, very well put together. This is actually my first unboxing that I've ever done.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
I've always got my fish from local fish stores and whatnot. Troy and Alec have done this a lot more than me, but hopefully I've learned a thing or two from watching their videos. But here we go, insulation foam here. So I did get this from Cichlid World Tank. It's just a dealer that I found on Instagram. So I just went through him and he was very fast and awesome throughout the process. So I really appreciate Cichlid World Tank. Give them a follow if you are not already, but here we go. Woo! All right, they're swimming around, and there's a lot of them. So if I'm counting, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I got 7 cichlids. To start, let's pull the first one up. Oh, there we go. Frontosa Cichlids. Specifically, these are blue mobas. So I knew I wanted to do Frontosa in this aquarium. I've always wanted to. However, they are very, very expensive, as I said, and they also are very tough to find the right kind that I wanted. I wanted the blue moba style because I think that they're a little bit more vibrant than the others. Also, Frontosa are very, very slow growers. So to get Frontosa that are decent size, obviously I pay a pretty penny for that, but it's also hard to find because they're very, very coveted in the fish keeping world. This guy is sweet. Okay, so I'm gonna put these into the aquarium, let them float and acclimate, and then in about 20-30 minutes, we're gonna get them out of the bag and get them into the tank. Woo! Look at this guy. Oh, how sick is that?
How neat is that?
So I did order, let's see, I got 4 females and 3 males. So the males get really, really big. Like they can get up to 15 inches big. They will also develop a big nuchal hump, kind of like my flower horn back there, that everyone always thinks is a tumor, but it's actually just the nuchal hump. And then the females don't get as big and they don't get as much as the nuchal hump. I'm hoping that this colony of 7 will fit well in this aquarium. I only have one little rock pile in this aquarium right now. I am going to get much more rocks. I'm just waiting for a shipment of Series stone. My local fish store, Aquatica Tinley Park, they're ordering that for me. It was a big boy. That's probably a male, but he is about the size of my hand already. Oh, so cool. This looks like probably a female. It's a little smaller. My one little rock pile is actually some leftover rock that I had in my classroom. I don't know if I'll keep those stones in here. We'll see how they match with the Series stone, but I do plan to have like a big rock pile in the left, middle, and then right. As they're getting acclimated to the new water parameters, specifically the water temperature, I am going to be working on a few of my other aquariums in my classroom, but in about 20 minutes, we're gonna throw these in. I'm particularly excited about the blue MOBAs just because they get really, really dark blue stripes, and they're just an awesome variety of the cichlid. So if you're wondering, in my classroom, I have the two 12-foot stands, one there and one there. So where is this aquarium? We have the three over here, so two 90s and a 75. So here is my 12-foot stand of all custom aquariums here. That 110 gallon right here. Zoom in for you. You can tell it's just gonna look so cool with the Frontosa and the 135 gallon right there. Meanwhile, my classroom is kind of a zoo this summer. You saw in the previous video, obviously I got all my aquariums, but I also have guinea pig from a different teacher in the school. I have a snake now, I think another guinea pig, a couple turtles, and a tortoise, I believe, to go along with all the aquariums. So as these guys are getting acclimated, I thought it'd be a good time to talk to you guys about how do I run my fish room whenever it's summer break and I am not here. I actually live downtown Chicago. My school is in Tinley Park, which is on the south suburbs, which is about a 45-minute drive. So I'm not here most days that my aquariums are obviously still here. I'm lucky to have some awesome help at the school. My friend Patrick, who is a security guard at our school, he's here Monday through Thursday, so he will feed them each day. And then a lot of the times I will be here in the morning for track or football camp. I'm also a coach here. So there are a few 2-week breaks that I am not here at all, but I do rely on Patrick's eyes to let me know if everything's okay or if I need to make an emergency visit, for example. I have used auto feeders in the past, which I definitely got by. I get a little concerned about using auto feeders because I just feel like the likelihood of there being like a tank catastrophe is so much higher with the auto feeders, just because you never know, a fish might bump the lid and now it turned over and it's not actually putting food into the tank. Like my yellow jacket, for example, he knows exactly where that auto feeder is, and he knows if he can go hit the lid, maybe a few pellets will fall down. But what he doesn't know is that if he hits it too hard, the auto feeder could fall offline and he won't get any more food in that way. Also, there's been times that way too much food has dropped into the aquarium from the auto feeders. It's really hard to calibrate it to where you have the perfect amount of food getting into the aquarium. So that's always something to keep in mind if you are having a remote setup for your fish room. I know my situation is pretty unique, but some of you might go on a long vacation, for example. My advice would always be to have somebody come and feed your fish instead of using the auto feeders. But worst case scenario, you can always use the auto feeders in case. Okay, so what did I pay for these 7 Frontosa? As I said, these Frontosa are more of the rarer variety because their colors are so vibrant. Also, because Frontosa are slow growers, it's hard to find ones that are a decent size like this. So for the males, they were $160 each, and for the females, they were $140 each. So let's see if I can do this mental math. 4 times 140 would be just over $500, and 3 times 160 would be, I think, $480, which brought my total to about $1,070. Troy, when you edit this, you gotta check my math on that.
Quinn is done.
I'm not a smart man.
Plus the overnight shipping was $90, which brought my grand total for these 7 cichlids overnight shipping was $1,130, I believe.
Jesus Christ.
So obviously that is a pretty steep price, and it definitely hurt the bank account a little bit, but like I said, I've always wanted these cichlids, and I found the right match, so it was time to pull the trigger. And once again, did get this through Cichlid World Tank, all right? We don't have a partnership or anything with them, and it was full price from what I'm aware of. As for future tank mates, I will consider possibly some Julies or some Calvis, obviously keeping it in the Lake Tanganyikan family. But obviously, I want to make sure that the 7 showstoppers in this aquarium are well established, and just make sure that any future tank mates would be healthy and happy in this aquarium and not disrupt any of the colony of Frontosa. It's been 20 to 30 minutes of acclimating, so it's time to get these bags one by one, get them in the net, and then get the fish in the aquarium. So let's get to it. All right, here we go. Looking good. Yep, this guy is one of the males. I can tell because he's a monster. Oh yeah. Man, these guys are so cool. This guy is ready to go in the tank. 2 more. They're already schooling together too. Guinea pig seems to be excited about these fish. All right, last one here. There we go. So they've been in the aquarium for about 20 minutes now, and they already, in my opinion, totally changed the feel of this fish room. I love the tranquil swimming, just back and forth, and they are all centered around this one rock pile. As a reminder, I am getting more rocks soon. You can see that they're already kind of jockeying for position here. But some of these are absolute stunners of Frontosa. So I believe these 2 right here are 2 of the males. They're a little bigger, along with this big boy. You can see they're already starting to kind of get that nuchal hump. So I believe those 3 right here are the males, and then the females are just a little smaller. But as I said, the females get about 10 inches and males can reach up to 15. I have seen some massive ones on social media. But overall, they seem very healthy. They don't seem stressed. I think they're gonna be a little bit more colored up after a few days just getting acclimated to the tank, where more of their blues will pop. I might put some other decor in here just temporarily, just to give them a little bit more hiding spots until I get my series stone. But overall, they seem to like the open space as of now. I'm also very happy with the size of these Frontosa. They are very slow growers, some of the slowest growers in the cichlid world. But they're already pretty good size and much bigger than Frontosa that I have seen at fish stores, for example. I know I had to take a hit in the bank account to get these, but I can honestly say this is the best group of fish I have ever put in an aquarium. I mean, I'm just absolutely amazed by how awesome they are. Overall, I am just mind blown about how awesome these Frontosa are. I'm so happy that I bit the bullet and made the purchase, because in my opinion, this totally changes my entire fish room. I love just the way that they are tranquilly swimming and schooling back and forth. They are just gentle giants, and overall look to be very healthy, and will get even more colored up as they get more used to the aquarium. So I'll definitely be providing lots of updates on this aquarium as we go. I can't wait to share this journey with you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.